Okay, so guys, welcome to Introduction to Website Development using HTML and CSS. I'm going to take you through setting up a simple HTML website, and we're going to start with setting up our folders. So firstly, we are going to create our folders at any partition of your machine. So the basic three things that we need to do: we create a project folder first, which you can use a shortcut with Shift, Control, and N. So with that, I'm going to call my folder test folder. Then inside the test folder, I'm going to create two fundamental folders. The first one is going to be the CSS. Then the second one is going to be the images folder. Remember, I'm using the Shift, Control, and N, which is the shortcut. So the images folder. Now I'm going to use the Sublime text folder, where I'm going to create my first file, and that will be an index.html file. So anytime you're going to use the index.html site, is because that the word index is going to be used by the servers all around, and it is the first file that the server is going to use. So once I've opened my Sublime text folder, I'm going to the file and then create the new file. Then from there, I'm going to save it, and then I'm going to save it to my root folder. So once I go back to my root folder, so that is my local disk key there. So it depends where you had saved your folder. So I'm going to save it as index.html.
Outside the two folders, eh?
Yeah, outside the two folders.
Yes.
So once I've set it like that, I'm going to use the shortcut. Then I'm going to do the Shift and the opening bracket, and then I'm going to take the HTML. Then with Sublime text folder, it will autocomplete everything for me. So first, the doc type HTML is going to make sure that this document has been saved as HTML file, and everything I'm going to type inside it is going to be an HTML code. Secondly, we have the HTML opening tag, and then we have the HTML closing tag. So everything that we're going to work here is not any other language but the HTML code. Then I'm going to use the header. Now with the header, this is where we do the title case for the website, and also we do the linking for the CSS file. So one thing I forgot to show you is that we need to create we've already created the CSS file. So anything that we're going to do, the CSS files, we're going to create it. We're going to save it from the CSS folder. So I'm going to create from the title in between, I'm going to call it our test website, like that, and then I'm going to do save. So now, for me to check if the HTML site is working, I'm going back to my folder, and then from this,
maybe someone might ask, why do we have two folders and one and a browser icon there?
So
because when we renamed our folders, there was no index.
So what has happened here is, once I've created the new file from the Sublime,
yes,
I've just saved it directly from the root folder, which is our test folder. So the test folder is where you set up your project. So once I'm done with this website and I want to do another website, then I'll create another folder, and then create the same folders, two folders for the CSS and images, and then now the document files will be appearing from below.
The first page is the index page.
Yeah, the index
page. The home page.
Yeah, the
which
index
must
page
be outside the two folders.
Yeah, of course.
Then the rest of the pages will go inside the
I can create another folder for the pages, or I can just do them from the root folder.
Okay, nice.
So from the root folder, since I've created the index.html, I usually use Chrome. So I'll just come back here, right click, and then I'll say open with, and then from here I'll say Google Chrome.
Yes.
So for me to test and see that the site is working, I'll come and hover top here, and you'll see it is a test website.
Yes,
so this test website that is here,
that is the name that
I've given to my title of my website.
Exactly.
What works with the title is, if for example I'm working for Safaricom, I'm creating a Safaricom website, I just rename this one to Safaricom website, or just Safaricom.
That is what will be seen.
Yeah, that is what will be seen from the title. So when you come to the browser here, most of the things that you'll be seeing, you see like this one is the YouTube. So the title that is appearing here is this Harmonize Filter Video, which means the title of the videos that I'm watching.
Nice.
So when I'm coming to my test website, it is a test website right here.
Wow.
Yeah.
So which means YouTube has given the same as the title.
Yeah, that is
Nice.
the title for the website.
Very nice.
Then from the header, we have not finished with the header. I'm going now to link now our CSS file.
Okay.
Before I link the CSS file, I need to create now a new file first.
Maybe people don't know what is CSS. Huh?
So CSS
Yes.
is just the styling style for the website.
Yes.
For
The
example,
beauty, maybe.
yeah.
Let me explain a bit about CSS. We have HTML. HTML is like a building that has been constructed but has not been polished.
Yeah.
But the CSS is now the polished building. Now, if you're making a building and putting the stones and everything, then you're coming to do finishing. Now finishing is the CSS now,
Yeah.
the beauty of the building.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or in simpler words,
Yeah.
the HTML is like the skeleton of a body.
Skeleton
so like
of-
you are
yes.
naked,
Yeah.
that is the HTML.
Yeah.
Now CSS comes in
When
as
you
the
put
clothes,
clothes
the
in.
clothes you have put in, the
Yeah.
makeup and all that.
Sure, sure.
So the next thing I'm going to do from our subline, I'm going now to create a CSS file.
Okay.
So I've just done the new file. Then from there I'm going to save it.
Okay.
So once I'm saving it,
So
I'll
we
need-
have two tabs. Huh?
Yeah, we
Maybe
have two
if you
tabs.
Close this file.
We have
two tabs.
the
first tab
HTML.
is HTML tab.
The next one I've created is for the CSS.
Yes.
Now from the CSS, I go to saving. For me, I like to use shortcuts. For the saving is Control S.
Control S.
But then for a beginner, you
Yeah.
come here to the file and then you
Save.
save. So from
Yes.
saving here, I'll save it in the CSS folder.
Yes.
And then from there, I'll name it style.css. Although you don't have to save it as style.css, you can save it any other name. I can call it maybe marvin.css.
The project
Yeah, the
name that
project
you're
name
handling, yeah?
.css. It
Yeah.
depends with how you want to name it.
Sure.
But the basic style, if you're starting, just name it style.css. So I've created it now.
And
So
if you've not saved your project, on the tab you will see a star.
yeah, you'll see a star. For example, if I
Yes.
type something here, you see this dot here.
Yes.
It's showing me that I've not
It's
saved this
unsaved.
file. Yeah,
Yes.
so it has not been saved.
Yeah.
So anytime I type anything and I need first to save it first,
You got
and then I'll come back here. So from the header, now I'm going to link now the CSS to the HTML.
Now the CSS and the HTML
They need to
one.
work together. Yeah, they
Yes.
need to work together.
Nice.
So when I open my bracket first, and then I just type link. From there, the Sublime will give you a short way form of linking that one. So
Okay.
when I click enter,
Okay.
it is giving me a relationship. So the relationship, it is style sheet. So
Style
relationship
sheet.
is what defines what you are linking to the HTML site.
yeah.
Yeah. So it is the relationship between what you are
HTML
linking.
is the mother.
Yeah, HTML is the mother.
Yeah.
So what I'm doing right now is, from the relationship now, it's what is going to tell that this is a style sheet. It's
Sure.
not a JavaScript, because
Yes.
style sheet is just for styling the website,
Yeah,
the
it's
HTML.
not JavaScript, which
So,
means
yeah.
you are styling a CSS document.
Yeah, I'm
Yes.
styling it as a CSS document,
Yes.
and then it will give me the type, which will be type text.css.
Yes.
If I'll be doing a JavaScript, the relationship will be Java, and then from the type it will be JavaScript.
Which means
So
we
it
are
will
calling the CSS,
the CSS
from
file,
HTML.
Yeah, to
Yes.
HTML now.
To HTML now.
And then the href, this is the linking code. Now,
Yeah. It's like
if-
we want someone is marrying someone. Again.
yeah, so you have
Yeah.
to link the woman to the
and
man.
to the woman to the man.
Now,
Yeah.
one thing that works with the href, I'm going to show you something. The index.html, it is on the root folder.
Yes.
So how href works is that I'm going to link this CSS file, which is inside the CSS folder. I'm
And
going to
then-
link it back to this index.html, which is outside the folder.
And
If the-
that is the most challenging thing that actually distracts so many developers.
Of course,
They don't
yeah.
know how to link HTML
Yeah.
and CSS.
Yeah.
Because the folders, HTML is in a different folder, but
And the
index is outside the folder. So
yeah.
this is how it is done.
We are going to link it.
Okay.
If the CSS file had saved it on the root folder,
Yes.
I'll not have to do this. But since I've saved it inside a folder,
Yes.
I'll come back to my Sublime,
Yes.
and then I'll say CSS. This will mean that it has to first search for the CSS folder, and then I put a slash.
Yes.
Then from the CSS folder, it's going to look for a file called style.css.
Yes, you must ensure you give it the
Yeah.
same name
Yeah.
that you gave in the folder, so that
Yeah.
the HTML can call it.
Even if you miss a single letter, it will not find it.
yes.
But then if you had not saved it on the CSS folder, I'd saved it on the root folder, I'll have to omit the CSS. I just
Okay.
have to remain with style.css, depending on how I would have saved it.
Yeah,
but now
that is-
since I'd
we
saved
have
it,
the CSS
folder, it
you
will start
must
with the
give it
folder.
yeah.
So that means the index.html file will first have to look for the CSS folder,
yes.
and then from the CSS folder, it will have to go now inside and then look for the style.css.
Sure.
Now from there, I'll go back and save it. Then once I've saved it, then even if I go back to my
HTML.
browser,
Yes.
even if I refresh it, nothing will appear.
Exactly.
Because I've not written any HTML
Yes.
code.
There is no code.
There's no
still.
code that has been written.
Yes.
Now I'll go back to my index.html and then I'll come back to the body. So the body is what contains now the website.
Yeah.
Now the website is
Now we have now the body.
yeah, the
Now,
body.
The body is the
header
container.
and then the HTML.
The body is the container.
Yeah, the body
it's
is the
just like a
container.
water container. You need
Yeah.
to pour water
inside it so that it can be said that this is a container
Yes.
containing water,
Yeah.
this is a container containing oil, this is a container containing
So everything that the developer is doing is going
Into
to
the
what we
body.
see.
Is
What
what
we
we-
see.
yeah.
Facebook,
An-
Instagram.
any Twitter, anything
Everything must
is
be
being
done
contained
inside
in
the body. Okay.
But now the styling that you'll be seeing has to be contained into the style.css folder.
Yes.
Now inside the body is being categorized into three.
Yes.
We have now the header again.
header
we have the
header part,
body,
the
and then we
body.
have the footer.
Yes.
So
we
the
call
head-
it. We call it. Maybe it's like insect.
Yeah, it's an insect. It's
Head,
the head, the body,
body,
and then
and
the tail.
Yes.
So inside the body, the head of the body is now what we call the navigation.
Navigation.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then the other the body part is what now we call the content that is being seen by the
Where
by the
now
user.
the content area.
Yeah. And then now the footer is what the user will be seeing. So the
Sure.
navigation, which is the header, and the footer doesn't change.
Doesn't
the body
change.
content is what will be changing.
In all the pages.
It doesn't change.
Okay.
So now first we're going to have to do the container. So we'll say we can use the div,
Yes.
and then inside the div we
You
can
must
use the
start
ID
with the opening
tag.
bracket.
Yeah, the
Yes.
opening tag. It's called the
Opening tag. Yeah.
So you have two options. You can use the ID or you can use the class.
Yes.
So what happens is the ID and the class is what now when we go to the style.css we're going to refer to it.
Yes.
So for
Now,
example,
we have the ID,
and we have this with the class.
the class. You
Yeah.
can decide to use one.
Which
of
one?
these.
Yeah. Whatever you decide to use, it's okay with you.
Nice.
Now the ID or the class is what now is going to define what we are going to style. For example, if I want the navigation to be red, so I'll say div ID navigation
Okay.
or div class navigation.
Yes.
So when I go to the style.css, I'll just say that on this ID or this class, I want that class to be red or
Red.
to be black.
Right.
That is what
Nice.
I'm going to do.
Now,
But-
now we are arranging our jobs into colors. Now.
Yeah, now to color that is going to style.
Yes. So that we can see what the browser contains.
yeah, what
first.
the browser contains.
Yeah, because
But-
we are talking about the three parts.
Yeah, we're talking about
Header,
the
body, and
then
the footer.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to create a container that is going to hold the content together.
Okay.
So I'll say div ID,
ID.
which when I say that and then I click enter,
Yes.
I'm going to call it container.
Container.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then after you have opened a div,
have
you now
to
need to
close it.
close the div.
Yes.
So once you do the opening tag and the forward slash, it will close it for you.
Yeah, that is the closing tag.
Yeah, but
Yes.
as a good developer, you need to comment so that you can know what you are closing first, because you are going to close a lot of divs.
Yes.
So how you close a div, you open the tag, you do the exclamation mark, and
Yes.
then you do two hashes.
Yes.
So it will become gray.
Yeah.
Once it has become gray, you put a space, and then I'm going to say
So
container.
in case another developer wants to
Yeah.
correct it when you are not there, it
Yeah.
will be very easy for them
to understand,
how to
where your closing tags
Yes.
were. So I've just closed our container, but
Yes.
then for us to see how container works, I'm now going back to I've saved my work first,
HTML,
the index.html.
Yes.
I'm going back to the style.css.
Yes.
Now since I'm using the ID, I'm going to use the hashtag.
hashtag.
But
yes.
if I could have used the class, I'm going to use a dot.
a dot.
Yeah, but since I'm using
Can you
the,
repeat that? If you are
using an ID,
you
you have to use the hashtag,
Hashtag.
to now focus on the HTML. But
Yes.
if I'm using a class, I
Yes.
have to use a dot.
Yes.
So this is the hashtag, and then I'm going to use the opening quotation marks, and then from here I'm going, let's say that is our container.
Yes.
Hash container.
Yeah. Now that is the container.
That is the container that I'm going to style right now.
Yes.
So what I'm going to do, I'm going to give it a width. Let's say I want its width to be 80%.
Yes.
So I type the width there,
Yeah.
and that's going to be 80%, and then I have to close it
Sure.
with the semicolon, and then I'm going to give it a height of, I'll give it a height of let's say like 1200 pixel, and then I'm going to give it a background color, background color, which is this one, and then I'll give. When you want to use a color, you first have to start with the hash, and then you have to use the color code from the web or from the Illustrator
you can also
or
copy
Photoshop.
the color code and paste it there.
So for me, since I know them from my head, I'll just use triple C, which is a gray color, and then I close it. Then I save.
Okay.
Once I've saved it, I'll go back to my browser.
But we must tell these people that if you have not saved it in the HTML side
and the CSS, it will not show anything.
Yeah.
So when I come back here and reload, it will appear.
Exactly.
So this is the 80% width, and then the height. It's 1200 pixels. But then it is not center aligned.
Yes.
So when I come here and I say align.
Yes, align.
Yeah, align. No, the best way to do this one.
Okay.
And then I'll come here and say margin.
Yes.
And then from the margin, I'll say center.
Yes.
So margin.
What about
center,
those people who use pixels and percentage? What is required? Maybe
so
because
if you are
using pixels and
if you're using pixel and center, it will depend with your design.
Yes.
So for example, since I've said margin center, and then you come back to the browser, and then you reload, it needs to be centered here.
Yes.
But then I can decide now to use margin. The margin is just what you're going to say. From left go this kind of distance, from right go this distance.
But we've not given it the margin.
So now since I'm using 80% as width, I can do margin left as 10% and the margin right as 10%. So I'll say margin left, and then here I'll do 10%.
So the right will come automatic.
Yeah, for the right now, it will come automatic.
Exactly.
So it has been centered. So now that one has been done. Now that is the container body.
Yes.
Now from the container body, we are going now to create our navigation.
That is where now we are going to do everything.
Everything now
is going
inside.
Forget about the white space.
Yeah, forget the white space here and this
But
one.
if you want to work with the white space, you want your website or whatever you are developing to be full width, you have to use 100%.
Yeah, from here if I say 100%, then if I do 100%, I'll have now to omit the margin left,
because we don't need margin left now.
So from there it will be occupied.
Yes.
Then you can use it that way. Then from there, the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going now to create the navigation.
Yes.
So from the navigation, I'll say now first I have to create the navigation container.
Okay.
So I'll say div, then ID.
Yes.
Then I'll say nav container. I'll just use short form.
Okay.
And then here I come and close my div. Yes. Then I have to comment it out. Then nav cont.
Yeah. Someone might ask, why do we have double containers?
But then the first container, you don't have to use two words, two IDs, because once you use the two IDs, the CSS will only understand the first ID. It won't understand the second ID.
Sure.
So from the div ID have content.
Yeah.
Then here, once I've saved it, then I'll copy it. Never use a space. Use a hyphen or an underscore.
Okay.
Once you are using two words. So when I come to my CSS here, and then I'll say hash, and then the nav cont, and then inside here I'll first have to give it a width. So with its width, I'll give it 90%.
Okay.
Because I need it
left to right.
Yeah, because I need it to have some space.
Okay.
Then I'll say margin left. Then from there I'll have to do it like 5%, because 90% minus 100% is 10%. So I'll do 5 from both sides. So I'll do 5.
We don't need to do 100%.
Yeah, you can do 5%, and then I can give it a background color, which I'll give it, let's say, red. And then I'll have to give it a height.
Yeah. You can do red or you can do color code.
You can do any color code, yeah.
Yes.
But for me, I've just decided to work with the primary colors. Okay. So with the height, I can give it 100 pixel. So with height and width, you can do pixel, you can do percentage.
Is it necessary to mix pixels and percentage?
It depends now with the design work that you have been given.
But if you are a beginner, it
just
will confuse you. Maybe you can use percentage if you are good. Maybe you can use any that you feel is good with you.
Yeah, but then if you are a beginner, then just work with pixel. So once I reload it, then there it is.
Okay.
So it is center aligned, but then it has touched down the top. So now I need to give it a margin top, so that it can come down a little bit.
Yeah.
Instead of, I can use margin top or I can use padding top.
Sure.
So the padding is just for spacing, the margin is just for spacing. Now if I want to use padding,
yes,
I'll give padding to the body. But
padding
if I want to use
body.
margin, I'll
Yes.
give margin to the navigation container.
Sure.
So let's do both of them and then you can see.
Okay.
So let's work with the padding now here, and then I do
Margin.
padding top
Padding
first.
top.
And
Padding top and margin top.
Yeah.
It's
So
the
padding
same
top
thing.
is for spacing, and then it is
Spacing.
going to the container.
Yes.
Margin top, it's going now to the navigation container.
Sure.
So padding top, I can give it like 30 pixel, and if I save it, and then I come back now
Refresh.
to my browser, and then it has
Wow. Wow.
it has moved.
You need a breathing space on top
Yeah,
of
you always need a breathing
This is-
space.
yes.
Then I can omit this, and then I come here, and then I do margin top now.
Yes.
Margin top. Once I've omitted it, let me first save this one, and then we come back, and then so that you can see the changes. I've already omitted the padding top.
Yeah.
So when I come back here and save it, it's going back.
Yeah.
So when I do now the margin top, and then I do now again the 30 pixel,
Yes. 30 pixel.
and then I have to save it. I can use Ctrl S or I can do save,
yes.
and then I come
We are
back
only doing save file save
Yeah.
just because for beginners.
for beginners now.
Yes.
So now this one, it has omitted the top from here.
Wow. Yes.
So now that is what margin works.
Yes.
So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to return back and use the padding top,
Padding
which is
top.
the best option now.
Yes. So that we have the breathing space between
The body.
the body instead of container.
Yeah. So when I do the padding top now and I come back here, then it has
Wow.
given it the breathing space.
Sure.
Now we have not yet done with the navigation.
Sure.
We need a logo between this space and then
Yeah.
we need the navigation inside this
And
space.
also we need we don't need to put it in pixels.
Yeah, we
It
can
is
do
in percentage.
Yeah, now we can
so
do
that
percentage.
it is like it is stretching. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's something
it is
that will
stretching.
stretch according to the content that you are going
Yeah.
to put inside.
And then the reason why I'm doing that is because we are creating blogs. We are not
Yes.
creating an actual website.
Exactly.
If we are creating an actual website, we shall be using the pixel
Yeah.
depending on the design of the
Yeah.
design.
Also, the pictures are coming in still colors.
Yeah. So with this one, I'm going now again inside now the navigation container. Always put your content inside the div that you have created.
Sure.
So this div navigation, any other content is going back to the container.
Yes.
But then the navigation content will be going inside the navigation container. So the
It's
first,
like putting a bag inside the bag.
yeah,
Yes.
it can't work.
So you can't.
Yeah.
You have to go.
And always learn to space your work. So it
Exactly.
is easier and it is neat. So
Clean
the first
work.
thing I'm going
Yeah.
to do,
Uh-huh.
I'm going to create the div ID for the logo,
Yes.
and then I close it, and then I'm going to hash it back.
Yes.
Then I say this one is for the logo,
Logo.
and then space, and then I close it, then another space, then I do div ID, and then for this one I'm saying navigation menu. So I'll do the nav hyphen menu, and then back to it, and then I need to hash it also to comment it out, so that any other developer that is going to come behind me will understand where it was starting and where it was closing.
Sure.
So this one I do a space, I close it like that, then I'm doing a space. So if you can see my work, it is properly spaced out,
Very organized.
and very neat. So once I've done that, I'm going to save it, and then I'm going to come back here, and then I'm going styling for the logo. So for the logo, I'm going again to use the hash, and then I do the logo.
Yes.
Then from the logo, I'm going to say that I'm going to give it a 40% width.
Yes.
So I'll start with the width, and then I'm going to do it 40%.
Yes.
And then, since I had given the height for the navigation container to be 100 pixels, I'm going to use 80, so that it can have a breathing space of 10 pixels on top, 10 pixels down.
Yes.
So I'm going to do, let's say I'll do a height of, let's say, 80 pixels,
80 pixels.
and then I'm going to give it a background color, which is going to be, let me do with blue. I'm just using random
Because of
colors.
the logo, do we need width?
Yeah, we need a width, because we are going to define now.
Yeah.
Answer out inside the navigation bar, which is 100%.
Sure.
We need to do so that the users can be able to see where is the logo, where is the
Yeah,
navigation menu.
At
So,
least to
yeah.
differentiate between the two colors.
Yeah. So I've done the background color to be blue,
Yeah.
and then I'm going to say padding. Now since I want to do padding all round, I don't need to say padding right, padding top, padding left, padding bottom. I just write padding, and then on top I'll give it 10 pixels. The padding starts from the top, going left, going right, down, and then left.
Okay.
So I'll do 10 pixels for top, then I'll do 10 pixels for right, then I'll do 10 pixels for bottom.
So you don't need to do left, right, and everything.
I just do 10 pixels, 10 pixels.
Yes, 10 pixels
all
by
round.
4.
Yeah.
All round. That.
And then I'll do save, which I've used Control S.
Yes.
And then I'll come back to my browser. And then I'll say reload.
Wow.
Automatically
We
it
have
has
it.
come here.
Yes.
Then from there,
But also remember,
Mm.
the reason as per why we have the red that has not changed is because we are using percentage.
yeah, not
Yes,
not pixel.
Not pixels.
Yeah.
If you could have been using pixels,
Yeah.
then we could have seen the color.
Yeah,
at
the
least
color red.
The color red.
Now if I want to use the color red, I'll rename the padding to margin now.
margin, yes.
Yeah, if I do the margin and I go back and then I reload, then that's it.
Yes.
Yeah, but then now I just want it to fit it inside the container.
Exactly.
So I'll go back and then I'll undo it. Control Z, which is the undo, and then it is padding, and then I save it back, I go back, and then I reload, and then it remains like that. But then this other side, we have to do the navigation menus. So navigation menu, now since,
Some call them links.
yeah, now since I've done that, on the navigation menu, I'm going to give it another color. So with another color, I'm going to use, so I'll paste it now, and then I'll use a different color, which is yellow.
Also, people must remember that construction takes place in HTML.
Yeah, and then styling
takes place in
the
CSS.
CSS. Yeah.
Yes.
So I'll do the width. Now since here I've done 40%, here I'm going to do 60%.
Yes.
So with 60%, that means it will be 100% inside that container.
Yes. 40
Plus 60, it's 100%.
Yes.
Then I'll do a height of 80 pixels. I'll just repeat what I've done here on the logo, and then I'll give it a background color, which I'm going to give it yellow. And then I'm going to do it the padding also, and so with the padding I'm going to do 10 pixel all over.
10 square.
Yeah, I'm going to do the 10 square. So with the 10 pixel like that, and then I'm going to save using Control S, Control plus S. I go back to my browser and then refresh it, and then it's going to appear here.
Yes.
But then now it has another space here because I've not floated it.
Yes.
So for me to make sure that it's going inside and to the left, I'm going back and say float this one right.
Okay.
Then
Yeah,
we do the
float
spacing,
right, so that
yeah.
we can have a background for the navigation.
So I'll do the float right, and then save it, and then it has come to right. But then now the padding is what now is going to distract it, because I've done 10. So 10 plus 20. So then I'll come here and then I'll reduce the width, and then I give it up to 50, so that we can take the 5 from both sides.
Okay.
So from here it is here.
Yes.
So now with this,
It's also about calculations and needed
yeah,
here.
it's
You must
about
know-
calculation.
Yeah,
So
you must know.
I'll add this one, and then I say this one to float right, and then you save. No,
Wow.
left. This one is floating left. The logo.
Floating left. Yes.
Yeah.
Let's see.
And then they are both fitted, and then the red background is here.
Yeah. So red is the mother container.
Yeah, red is the mother container. So the logo will come to the blue, the navigation menu will come to the yellow. And then,
Remember, the red color is the background color.
yeah, the red
Yes.
color is the background color. The next thing we can do,
Yes.
we can do now a banner. So I'll come here after the navigation menu. Now since I've finished with the navigation content, which is this one,
Yes.
and since I understand that the navigation content ends here, I'll come now down and then create another div. Div and then ID, which I'll call it a banner. And then from the div banner, I'll come here and then I have to close it and then comment it out and say this is the banner, and then I finish. Control S to save it.
Yes.
Then I go back to my CSS.
We're
Now
going
from
to
the
call
CSS,
the
yeah,
banner.
I need to style it first.
Yes.
Then I'll come here and say hash and then banner, and then give it the style that I want. Remember, I'm using the style from my head, not
Yes.
what the designer has given me. So I'll give it a width of 80% again, so that it can be aligned with the navigation.
Sure.
So that is 80%. Then I'll give it a height. Most of the banner, the standard height for banners is between 380 to 450.
Yes,
So personally, I use
450, yes.
I'll use 400 pixel. Then I'll come back and give it a background color, which
Maybe
I'll
some
give
people
it
don't know
black.
the importance of knowing coding is that you are the controller of everything that
That the
happens
user is going to see. Yeah,
Instead
then-
of working with front end ready board websites.
Yeah. The good thing with coding for yourself is you can be able to control how the system works.
Yes.
So you have the total control of your
Yeah.
website. So the margin left, I'm going to give it with 80%. I'll give it 10 pixel, so that on the right side it's going to remain with 10% also, because I'm remaining with 20%, which I have to subdivide it.
Exactly.
So I'll do that and then click Ctrl+S, which is saving. Then I'll come back and reload it on my browser, and that's
Wow.
it.
We have
But
it.
then we are having some space here.
Yes.
So
we
the
must
best thing
have we must have a boundary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the best thing I'm going to do, I'm going to give it a margin top,
Yes.
which I'm going to give it, like, let's say 30 pixel.
Yes.
So margin top is what is going to define the space between the banner and the navigation content. So after I've saved it, I go back and reload, and there we have the
it.
space.
Yes.
So now that is the
And
website.
the website is coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now we have done with the banner.
Mhm.
Now we have to do a single column of content.
Yes.
So the single column of content, I'm going to do 3 boxes,
Okay.
and then 3 boxes at 30% each, and then with different
Now
colors.
that is where now as a designer you need to come with your own creativity
Yeah.
and how you're going to make your
Yeah.
content be, right?
That is the work of a designer.
Yes.
Now then I'm going to create here, and then I'll say div ID, and then I'll say content. Let's say content background, because you have a lot of containers. So back G. I'll do back G for the content background, and then I'll come back here and close it first. Then from there I'll have to hash it out also, and then I'll copy this one so that I don't waste time typing it around. I
Yes.
paste it,
Yeah.
and then from there I do like that. So
That
now
is
this
just to ensure that you know the end of
everything
code.
that I'm doing.
Yeah,
So
every
always make sure
container
that
you make.
yeah. So
Yeah.
for this one, I know this div is for the container, and if you
Yeah.
want to make sure, once you left click on it, it will do a small line
Direction
between. Yeah.
arrow. Yes.
If I do this one, it will give me this one.
Yeah.
If I do this one, it will give me this one.
Sure.
So the content back G. So I've just copied it, and then I've saved it. I'll come now to the styling.css.
And style it.
And then I need to style it first. So I'll do the hash, Ctrl V, and then from there I'll give it a width of 100%,
Sure.
because all the content is going to go inside there.
Yeah. And the important thing with giving it a width of 100% is that when we give it a width of 100% in a machine that
Yeah.
is 800 pixel screen,
It will
and
go fully.
It will go fully.
If you do
But-
1200 screen,
Yes,
it will go fully. It
But
will
if
go
you
1900.
Do, yes.
If
If
you
you
do
do
pixel,
800 pixels and you take it into a 64-inch,
yeah,
it will only count
Feet on the other side,
on the,
on the 800 pixel only.
pixels. So
Yeah.
it's good to
use percentage in terms of width,
because it will kind of take the entire
the
screen.
entire screen. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll give it a height. Let's give it a height of, let's say, another 400 pixel.
pixel.
Or let's do 350.
Yeah.
Let's do 350 pixel.
What about if you do 450, because for it not to look like a
The banner. Yeah, let's do 450. You can do 450.
Yes.
And then you can do a background color. You can use, let's say, you can use green.
Yes, green.
And then now we can use another element, which is the border, so
Yeah.
that since we are going to put the content inside the background,
We can have the
boundary now.
Yes.
So the boundary, we use the border. In terms of design, it's called the stroke.
Yes.
So in development, it's called the border.
Okay.
Now since I want the border to be all round, I'll give it a 2 pixel, and then I'll give it solid, because I don't want it to be dotted.
Yeah.
And then I'll give it a color code of, let's say, black.
Yes,
The
black.
color code of black is 000, and that's it. So once I save it, and then I go back now to my browser, then that's it.
Wow.
But then now I have to do a margin top.
Yes.
So with margin top,
Maybe
now,
someone might ask, why is it going over the content?
now it's going over the content because I've just done 2 pixels.
Yes.
So for me to make sure that it's going inside,
Yes.
then I can have to reduce now the pixels to 1%, and then I have to do a margin top here so that it can release itself from the banner.
Yes.
So from there I can do a margin top of, let's say, 30 pixels.
Yeah.
Just use it universally,
Exactly.
and then that's it.
Wow.
And then that's
very
it.
nice.
Now I'm going to subdivide it into 3 sections.
Yes.
So in the 3 sections, I'm going to create
That is
content
3
now.
columns. Now.
Yeah, 3 columns.
3
now.
columns.
So I'm going to call them. I'm going to create again another div ID, and then I'll say column content, and then I'll close it, hash it out always so that my work will be unique. Yeah. So I'll paste it down here and then save it like that. But then since they're going to be unique, all of them, I'm just going to copy this one, because I'm going to give them a very unique style, all of them, and then I'll paste all of them there.
Sure.
So that is done.
Yes.
So, but then I have the first column should be different from the second and the third.
Okay.
So I'll name this will remain the content, and then this I'll name it content 1.
Remember, the 3 are the rows that we are going
to create now.
Yes.
So once I've named it content 1, I'll come back to my styling, and then I'm going to save them. And then first I have to start with my ID, and then from there I'll give them a width. Because it's 100%, I'll do 29% because I'm going to do some margin in between them.
Sure.
So 29%. I'll give them a height. Because this one is 400 pixels, I need top and bottom. I'll do like 380 pixel. I'll give it a background color of, let's say, green.
Yes.
And then I'll do margin. Since it's going to be top, bottom, left and right, I'll just use margin. And then top, bottom, I'll do 10 pixel. And then both sides, let's say I'll do, 1%. So what I've done here is the 10 pixels for top and bottom, the 1% is for left and right. So once I save it, then I'll come and then I create another one. Now I'll just copy this one
Because
it's going to be same, because there are 3. And then I'll paste it, because the second one I'll name it 1 because it's going to be in the middle.
You don't have to take long.
Yeah,
to start
just
again.
to
You
retyping them.
copy-paste.
So I'll just do float. I'll do float, and then I'll say left. And then now with this one, because this one we don't want it to be green, now we can use something like red. And then now here on the float, I'll have to add it also to be float left.
Yes. So that at least they can push.
They can push each
The
other.
first one will push the second one.
Yeah. So I come here and refresh it, and then remain with this one. Now, one mistake I've done, this one is green, and then this one is green.
Yeah.
So this one I can do white.
Yeah.
And then I save it, I go back, and then reload it. And they have remained all of them. And they have spacing in between all of them.
Look very nice.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now once you have done with the content, we're going now to do the footer.
Yes.
So the footer needs to be down here. So now we have to create another div for the footer, and then this content background is ending here. So I'll do another div, and then with this one, I'll say div ID, and then I'll call it footer. And then again, you have to come back, and then close it, and then hash it out. So I'll call it footer, and then give it space, and then close it. Now I'll come back here, and then I'll now style the footer. So once I've styled out the footer, then our website will be done.
Also remember, we calling it footer because
It's going to be
calling
unique
from the HTML what you are doing on the other side.
Yeah. And then the footer should be, the footer and the navigation are always universal.
Yes.
The content is what changes.
Yeah.
So I'll give it a height of, let's say, 120 pixel, and then I'll give it a background color of, let's say, let's
Black.
work with black also.
Black is mostly universal.
Yeah, because I'm just removing all the colors from my mind.
Yeah.
Then I'll save it, I'll come back here, and then I reload it, and that's it.
We have it.
Yeah, but then now I have to give it margin top so that it can appear to the bottom. So from here I can do a margin top of, let's say, 80 pixels.
Yes.
And then now we're going to do our calculations to ensure that it comes to the bottom. And then now we have our website there. So this is a basic website which we have just used color blocks, and that's it.
Yeah. And with this website, actually this is the father of the website.
Yeah.
So all that you see, the beauty and everything, is all about creativity, and also there are some codes that you need to add, in which we will be developing the website slowly till you see the exact website.
Yeah, for example, we can use now, let's say we can use the paragraph to add the content from the first content blocks, and then we can use the p tag. Once you use the p tag, then we can come back here. There is a site that I like to use, which is called Lorem Ipsum.
Lorem Ipsum dummy text.
Which will give me dummy text.
Yes.
Lorem Ipsum.
We don't have the internet.
Yeah.
Just enable the internet.
But then I can just copy this one.
Yes.
And then paste it in our content. And then I'll save it, then go back to our site, and then reload it, and then our content is here.
Yeah.
But
so
you can add a lot of content.
It is still touching the wall because there is no CSS.
And then I've not done any padding.
Yes.
So if I want to style this one, I'll come here and to the column
now we're
content.
going to style P.
Yeah. You cannot even style P. You can just style the background.
Okay.
And I can say padding. And then I want all round to be 10 pixels.
So like it leaves a margin.
A little breathing space for the content. And when I come here and reload it, then that's it.
That is another short way.
Yeah, that's
the quickest way also.
Yeah, to do that.
Wow.
But for a beginner, you can do padding top, padding left, padding right, padding bottom.
Sure.
So that's it.
So that is how people make websites, and that is the genesis of making websites. And if you want to start making a website, don't go to images, don't go to videos, only start with colors.
Start with colors, blocks, and all that. Then from there you can start now adding the content inside.
Yes. For more questions, ask us. Also, you can reach the trainers on Facebook.
You can do Marvin Otieno, Instagram Otis_Jambaga, or you can do the email that is going to be posted on the website, and my number is going to be posted on the video.
Yes. If you want further trainings, maybe at home, at the job site, we also come to the job site to train you guys on HTML. Also, if you are working and you are kind of stuck somewhere in coding, just paste the question and
your contact, and
we shall be back to you. And also remember, all this, for us to solve this problem, also we need you to subscribe to our channel also, but we also have some small charges, right? Small charges
just to keep us going and posting more videos.
Yes. So if you like this, tell us on the comment section, subscribe, like the comment, click the bell button, and let's do this next time. And also, if you want us to do another tutorial, tell us which tutorial will you want us to do. Remember, code is the way. The world is changing. Technology is all about codes.
And everything is going tech.
Everything is going tech. Bye bye. Have a nice day.